Yeah, if he's just like randomly drawing me and my coworkers to
Right.
suck our brains,
Hmm.
it might be time to rethink my the hierarchy
Commitment.
here.
Right, right. If
Yeah,
it's just that he has to
yeah,
get his brain sucking
yeah.
fix every so often, yeah, your number is going to come up sooner or later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
I
just
mean,
gonna say, if I was his henchman, I'm not throwing a gun at Superman for him. Like, I'm just gonna run away. 'Cause
hello and welcome to the Skippy and Fanny Show's Torture Cinema.
That's all right. I'm already quite disturbed.
Is that your Tim Curry voice?
Yes.
I love it.
Close as
You
I
can play
can get
Tim
at
Curry.
a Tim Curry voice. Only Tim Curry can do a Tim Curry voice.
Oh, it is so unique. You're right. Well, I'm Sean,
I'm Trish.
I'm Dan Dan.
and obviously you've heard a voice, and that voice would be Dan Dan. Hi, you're here.
Hi. Thank you for inviting me.
You've listened to every episode of this ridiculous show, and now you're on it not as like an author guest. You're here voluntarily watching a bad movie, supposed bad movie, emphasis on the supposed.
Yeah,
And
suppose.
now you're going to talk about it.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Like you said, I've seen every single episode except the last, or listened to every single episode other than the last, I think, two. There's a lot of good stuff in there, and some of it was torture cinema.
Which now you're here for. So for today's Torture Cinema, we're talking about the 1997 post-apocalyptic family film Doom Runners, written by Barney Cohen and Ken Lipman and directed by Brendan Mayer. It stars Leia Moreno, Bradley Pierce, Nathan Jones, oh, you beautiful man, Dean O'Gorman, Rebecca Smart, Peter Carroll, Paul Livingston, and Tim Curry. Doom Runners has a 4.5 rating on IMDb and an 18% on the Rotten Tomatoes popcorn meter.
This film was selected by our Patreon supporters based on a poll of Australia's worst, a theme suggested by Daniel the Cultured, to break the cycle of Northern Hemisphere-centric summer themes. If you are not yet subscribed to our Patreon, please join and get a chance to suggest future torture for us. Force it upon us by voting in upcoming polls, and even join us in watching it live on Discord. All for as low as $1 a month.
I probably should mention that we're still doing the thing that if we can get the Patreon up to $150 a month, I will watch and react live for the patrons' amusement, the 2019 film Cats.
Which is an excellent movie, by the way.
No.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay.
It is absolutely
Unforgettable?
ridiculous. Unforgettable, wonderful evening.
Fair enough. All right, well, before we dive into the mess that is supposedly Doom Runners, let's get to what we are drinking. As always, please remember that you should drink responsibly. So if you are imbibing of the alcoholic beverage style, be smart about it. Don't do anything stupid. Alcohol is not a requirement for the Skiffy and Fanty show, so people may drink whatever they like. And so with that in mind, Trish, what beverage are you drinking?
I am drinking pure H2O, which certainly seems appropriate for any post-apocalyptic movie where supplies and resources are short. So, what are you drinking, Dan Dan?
I'm drinking old fashioned that I made with Basil and Hayden dark rye. Absolutely
Nice.
delicious.
That
Yeah.
sounds nice.
It's very nice. I love making old fashions. They're delicious. Absolutely.
And now it comes to me.
Yeah, and it goes to you. And you,
Yeah, so
Sean.
yeah. So I'm moving, which means I have whatever's left in the liquor shelf at this point. I don't have a cabinet. So I basically just made a Cosmo, but with rum instead. It's fine. It tastes like a rummy Cosmo. I don't know what that's called. I don't care, because I don't have time to go dig up things that are post-apocalyptic Nickelodeon friendly. But maybe one day I will make a GAC cocktail. Maybe. Anyway. So, Trish, you, weirdly enough, are constantly getting voluntold to do the summaries of these films. And so today you are going to be telling us about the basic idea of Doom Runners, because I do think it's a fairly basic idea.
Okay, so Doom Runners, basic idea is that we are in some kind of post-apocalyptic situation where we start out in a sort of junk town, barter town, where people are living off the remains of civilization. And every once in a while, DTs come through. These are, I think that stands for Doom Troopers or something like that. And we have two kids and their grandfather who are, scraping out a living. The grandfather is dying, though, and he leaves a letter telling them to go find the oasis that their parents had escaped to before the evil overlord had taken over everything. And eventually these kids and another Junktown person go on a quest. Their friend, who was a veteran with their grandfather, and a guy who rides a motorcycle, go on a quest to try and find this green paradise that they have been promised. And when they do that, they run into Tim Curry and his flunky and more Doom Troopers.
DTs.
Does that work for you?
Oh, yeah. No, that's perfect.
DTs.
Yeah, DTs.
Love it.
Yeah, so this film is not complicated at all. I just want to note, it's not a very complicated film. The one thing I want to say, though, is the opening monologue repeatedly makes reference to the corporations destroying the whole planet, which to me was so amusing because this thing is made by a massive media corporation who has a long history of people under its care doing evil things to children. So it's a little rich.
Yes. Well, it's made in part by Nickelodeon and Showtime, right?
Right.
And it was a Nickelodeon show from the 90s.
Yeah.
And a Nickelodeon show in the 90s that had no feed in it. So that was a plus.
That's true. That is true. Yeah, it is a very curious thing. I mean, they're the nondescript corporations, right? They're just the corporations, right? They could be anybody for all we know. The oil corporations, it could be Disney, right? Whoever it was that destroyed the earth, they're just the corporation, which I found just overall really, really fun because on the one hand, this is super prescient, this film, being like, the corporation has destroyed the entire world and we're trying to live. And it's like, oh, it feels like today in real time. But also at the same time, it's like, but they can't get specific because this is for kids and they can't be radicalizing children into like little socialists, which could be where this goes.
And like, I was actually pretty surprised that like it, as much as the opening narration started with all this stuff about corporations, there was no real callback to that. Like the Doom Troopers, I assume were part of a corporation, but there's like no corporation. They're just Tim Curry leading a bunch of bad guys. So like normally when you have that like 10-minute startup of how bad the corporations are, you expect some tank girl business going on where then the corporations are a major plot point. And it's just like, nope, they're all dead.
Yeah.
Well, my headcanon for that is that, the tech bros and CEOs always think that once the corporations take over, it'll be, their control forever. But in fact, once you break the system, I think things are just going to deteriorate down to the point where you have warlords and the tech bros are all going to get eaten or something. So I'm okay with the corporations being in the opening monologue only, and then, going down in flames with the rest of the world.
I mean, I suppose the better headcanon is that, after all of this happens and things whittle down, the world just becomes controlled by Tim Curry, which, when you think about it, is not that bad, because at least it's entertaining, because if we're getting to likes, I'm just going to throw it out there, and I'm stealing it if it's anyone else's, because I don't care. Tim Curry was everything I thought he was going to be in this movie. He is banana pants. He's over the top. He gets the best lines in the entire film, period, right? He does accents. He's menacing. He's camp. He's silly. He's strange. He's scary. He's weirdly almost kid-friendly, except when he's not. And he's weirdly sexual, and you just have to pretend that you don't see that because it's in a children's movie. He is perfection, right? The moment when he's sucking up what's the guy, Danny or whatever, right? The one, the fire starter girl's brother, right? And she's like sucking his brains out, and he's like doing the Australian accent of him talking about his sister. And it's just so weirdly sexual as he's doing it. And then the guy comes in, is like staring at him, waiting for him to have his moment over. And then when it washes off, he just gets irritated. He's like, what do you want? Like, you've ruined my moment. He just lives to suck all the info out of brains. And it's perfection.
I mean, he looks at the camera later on when he's talking to the kid and is like, you could tell me, but I'd rather just suck it out of you. And the way he says it is so like Tim Curry. And I'm just standing there like, oh my God, did he just say that?
To a kid.
It's beautiful. Yeah, to a child. You know, like, wow, he knows evil.
I mean, it is, right? It's so evil what he's doing, but it's also like, in chat, I see Paul has said he's weirdly compelling, and I'm like, yes, you kind of want more. You want them to be like, we need the sequel of Tim Curry, like, as the weird half melted guy sucking more brains out, because it's alluring. You want him to just chew more scenery. He's just such a perfect casting choice. And I'm glad that he was at a point in his career where, like, they probably didn't pay him very much for this because it's Nickelodeon, to be honest. Their first feature film that aired on Nickelodeon. But they somehow got him to do it.
Wow, and what a choice.
Yeah. Like, you couldn't have, there's no other person you could have picked for this role to have made it as good, period. That this is the only, there are two perfect castings in this. One is Nathan Jones, who I'll probably come back to later, and one is Tim Curry. No, not Jeremy Irons, Paul. No, he can only be in Dungeons and Dragons.
Tim Curry said that what sold him on the script is it was Mad Max for kids. It was the only thing I could find that he said about the movie. And he's like, it's Mad Max for kids. And I was thinking, if I was an actor, and if somebody said that to me, I'd be like, I'll do that. And
I feel like,
to his credit, Tim Curry feels like he's a lot like Nick Cage, where he does whatever people throw at him. It almost feels like, and does it well.
He just seems like he has fun. Like, acting to him is joy. Because he just gets to do the slimiest, strangest, weirdest, most bizarre characters. And nobody stops and thinks, oh no, Tim Curry's just gone too far this time. Everyone's just like, we could have had more.
Yeah.
So, all right, I've done my like. I'm getting it out. I'm sorry if I took it from anyone, but I had to because it's perfect. So,
Tim Curry is a perfect like.
I will have this go to Dan next. Because Trish, I will have us be a sandwich, a Skiffy sandwich, if that's okay. So, Dan, you're the ice cream filling.
Oh, all right. Well,
so what's your like?
I actually really, really loved the props in this movie. Like, from the fact that the main bad guys in the Doom Patrol were wearing like Farscape leftover uniforms, like the Peacekeeper uniforms. Like, it's the exact same outfit, to the hoverboards that actually didn't look that bad. Like, they were kind of fun, the sailboard hoverboards. Like, all of the props in this movie, I felt, were like just the B movie level of the 90s while still being like pretty good quality. Like, I thought they did a really good job.
The little flying, hovering skateboard things.
They were having fun with it too. Yeah. You didn't need hover surfboard things. You could have just had them all on motorcycles and it would have made absolutely no difference to the plot. But they were cute little hover surfboard things. And, they obviously someone had fun designing them. And, you had a cute little music montage with them all sailing along. So, sure, yeah, I totally agree with you. Fun props. Didn't spend 2 cents on them, but they were fun.
But you didn't spend a lot of money on them. It's very clear the budget was not very big, but
Right.
weirdly, they don't feel that cheap, if that makes sense. Like, the little hoverboards, like, it's meant to be things they kind of built in their, like, secret little lair inside the town.
Yeah.
So they kind of
Yeah.
feel
Yeah,
like
that's-
they're held together by
Yeah.
duct tape.
hmm
Yeah.
But you're right. That the setup with the plot worked very well with the level of props that they were doing. Yeah.
Yeah. It actually reminded me, I don't know if either of you ever watched it, but there was a TV show called The Tribe or The Tribes that was British at the time that was about kids in a post-apocalyptic world. It
I've
was
heard of
obviously, yeah, it's obviously just a bunch of kids dressed up in, like, some of them like punks and some of them like Nazis and some of them like just different things. And they're obviously just filming on like the first empty street they can find with whatever happens to be lying there. But it feels like the props feel like they belong in the 90s and like of what they're doing, which is nice.
I like how you said the phrase, it was British at the time. Did
Well,
it stop
yeah.
being British?
yeah, yeah. Because it became cool. Like once something becomes cool, it can't be British anymore.
Oh my God, we're gonna get so much hate mail.
Wow.
I'm joking. I'm joking. I
Wow.
apologize. I apologize. I'm joking.
You could send your hate mail to dandan@gmail.com. I don't know if that's not your real email, but still,
No.
send it there.
On Blue Sky, they can yell at me. I apologize.
You made a bad joke about the British. Like, well, I mean, what are they going to say to you? Honestly. Well, Trish, it's your turn. Finish the sandwich.
Okay. I actually quite liked the character arc for Firestarter Girl. And I'll just go ahead and say I don't remember anybody's names from this movie. But Firestarter Girl was, the best friend of a sister girl, a granddaughter girl. And nobody else that I guess Tim Curry had his mental powers. So that's someone else with extra mental powers. But Firestarter Girl could, at first we saw her using her fingertips like candle flames, like a hand of glory that's still attached or something kind of weird. But anyway, later on we see that she can, whip up fireballs and throw them at people. And but that's not what was most interesting about her. I really liked her character arc, and I will go ahead and spoil this piece of the movie. But she's the best friend of main character girl, and she does some weird stuff like showing up in the middle of the desert, and they say, "Oh, what are you doing here?" And she said, "Oh, I thought I'd come out here after all, but I'm going to wait for Danny." And it turns out that she is selling out her best friend to Tim Curry in order to save her brother Danny, which is a choice, not a great one, but a reasonable one. But later on, when she figures out that Danny's not coming back from his sojourn with Tim Curry, she instantly flips and goes back to trying to help her best friend. And best friend forgives her. And it's just very nice. I really liked, it's not super deep, but it was really well executed. And I just liked the flow of it. I liked, that she wasn't irredeemable. She made a hard choice, and then she had the sense to realize that it was a bad choice. And I just liked that whole thing. I liked how it went.
And they forgave her super fast. And I actually liked that. Where as soon as she told the sister what she'd done, the sister was like, "I get it," and gave her a hug. And I like that. There wasn't any long drawn out. Yeah.
Right.
I will say one thing I was confused about though, and I also don't remember any of their names.
Lizzie. Her name's
I don't know if anybody else noticed this. Fine. But did anybody else notice that when she first comes on, Motorcycle Boy's immediately like, "Hey, Lizzie." And then when they were leaving her little fireplace to run away because the dog was mad, he was like, "Good to see you again, Lizzie." And I was thinking, did I miss where they indicated where he had met any of the characters before? He wasn't in the town before, right? Did I miss him?
I'm going to help you right now.
Okay. Because I'll be honest, there were several times in this movie that I either missed something or I was like, they didn't explain it.
No, you didn't.
But maybe they missed
didn't.
It. Okay.
No, you did not. So there are two pieces of extraneous media that I watched for this because I was trying to dig up as much as I could about this film, because this film aired first on Showtime December, I think 20th, 1997. Hence why it says 1997 is its air date, because that's its first screening. It later aired the following year on Nickelodeon. And so there are two different spots. There is the Showtime trailer spot where they were advertising it, which has its whole thing, and I can go over it later. And then there is a Nick-exclusive sneak peek behind the scenes. I'm going to put quotation marks around that because their conception of what behind the scenes means is very loose. And in that behind the scenes, you get a bunch of very brief snippets of information about the show and the cast's reaction to who their characters are and their relationship. And one of the things that they mention is that Deke is like a legend. And the implication of the way it's described for Deke, who Deke is the motorcycle kid, by the way they talk about Deke is like everybody in the town knows Deke because he is some sort of legendary figure. And in the movie, the only thing we get is the one moment where he comes in as the DTs are like tearing things up, and he's like, whoa, look at me on my motorcycle. And they're like, you need to stop. And he's like, go to hell, coppers. And then he runs, right? He doesn't say those exact lines, but that's whatever. That's the only
And he
real
very
piece.
usefully provides a distraction for a lot of people who are trying to escape the DTs.
Right.
Yeah.
And so what the spot suggests is that all the characters kind of know him already. And my guess is there probably was stuff in the script that was meant, maybe it was filmed or not, it was meant to suggest that he was friends with some of the people. But in the actual film, weirdly enough, it's a film narrated by Deke, where he's not remotely the main character.
Which I'm going to comment on that for a minute, because I did not realize that Deke was a narrator and not the little brother until he returns to the group, and he's like, and then I returned, like, then I left, and then I returned, and I was like, what? And then I was like, oh shit, he's the one talking he's the narrator this whole time, because before that, I just assumed it was a little brother.
That was confusing, certainly.
Yeah. He's
I will
doing his
say-
best John Connor impression.
I will say that I had assumed that it was because she was famous, because she obviously wheeled and dealed and did a lot of trading and was obviously kind of like the town capitalist. So I assumed that like he'd done some business with her in the past because she bought and sold everything.
Well, look, if I can get my hands on the full script, I'll let you know. Because I may just email somebody cold out of the blue and ask questions, because apparently if I talk to people about semi-obscure films in emails, they will send me stuff. It just happened now for one other film where I got like parts of the music from the score that has never been released. So I'm sending an email.
Cool.
I'm sending an email.
Nice.
And I guarantee you that the kid who was the like little monkey boy from Jumanji, who's in this, who plays, I believe, Adam, he'll probably respond.
Is he the little brother?
Yeah, he's the little brother. Yeah,
All
Jumanji's before
So-
this, so he's grown up a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Trish, you mentioned they had superpowers, and you bring up Adam. Was his superpower just being smart? Because we have at least two people with kind of superpowers, but he, like, immediately knows what's poisonous. He, like, just seems to have knowledge way beyond, which was common in a kid's movie, I guess, or a preteen movie, but he just seemed
Yeah.
unnaturally gifted in that regard.
Yeah, they mentioned a couple of times that he had asthma, and they were worried whether he could, make it through the wilderness. So maybe he just studied a lot more than other people from, the lore of everything. But he was the one who could talk to the upgraded dog, and nobody else, could communicate with the dog other than, normal person
Yeah.
communicating with dog. So he had that, whether that was enhanced mental powers or enhanced inventing powers. I don't know, but yeah, I guess you could say he had some kind of special ability too.
Yeah.
I agree, because they tried to set it up as coming from the grandfather, but like the one time we see the grandfather teach him something, he's like, I can't get this to work, and his grandfather's like, have you shook it? And so he shakes it and it starts working, and I'm like, if that's the level of training he's getting from grandpa, like obviously it's
Right.
coming from somewhere else.
Right.
Well, like that's the thing too, right? Because later on we see like a town of old. Most of the characters in this are young people, and later we get that town that has all the older people and they're all like kind of Looney Tunes, right? And presumably because all of their brains have been mind sucked by Tim Curry, Dr. KO.
Yeah, that was what I thought was
That's what
wrong
I thought
with them.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because
Same.
the one guy, right, who used to know their parents, he basically tells us that he sucked almost everything out of his brain. It's almost like he's given them some sort of like silly version of Alzheimer's, right? Where they can't remember anything, but they're all like, hey, like come over to dinner. Never mind, forget it. I'm having tea with the queen. Like they're just like wandering to different thoughts, which is really sad, but I think is played to be really funny here. But also like they've all had their minds sucked out. That's kind of terrifying.
Yeah,
For me, it was kind of funny. Oh, go ahead, Trish. Sorry.
Oh, just that the one who ended up helping them was rather sweet and seemed rather happy when he was wandering off. None of them have much to eat or decent clothes or anything, but none of them seem terribly distressed either. So it's almost like the brain sucking left them in a happier place.
He had one of the best. He had one of the best give and takes in the movie when he asked them if they wanted tea, and their answer was no. And he said, "I do. I haven't seen it in years." Like
Yeah,
I
so
laughed
like
out
that.
loud at that. But I actually thought it was really funny up until Lizzie, the fire girl, made the comment about her brother, and then it kind of sunk into me that I probably shouldn't be laughing at these people because she said, "What was the quote? He was no longer someone. He was. I couldn't save him. He was no longer, or what did she say? He was no longer there to be saved. At least he wasn't somebody who was any longer there to be saved, or something like that." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh man, that's dark." Like immediately, this thing that was kind of they'd been playing for laughs. I was like, "Oh, that's not funny."
No.
Yeah, because the last time she saw him, he was just vacantly staring into space and didn't respond when she tried to talk to him.
Yeah, basically drooling
And
on his
Tim
lap.
Curry
Yeah.
stupidly showed that off to her. I mean, he should have expected betrayal after that, but
I didn't get that. Like that was the one thing he had over her head was that like threat, and then he's like, "Oh, but I already did it."
I think he just enjoyed torturing people too much, and this was, mental cruelty torture, not brain-sucking torture, but, he just had to rub it into Lizzie that hey, your brother's not coming back from what I did to your brother.
I mean, you could kind of see that if they didn't go to New Eden yet, that the people who like work under him are not gonna put up with him for that much longer, because his second in command, who it's like he's doing the best he can with a bunch of DTs who seem to be athletically challenged and not thus able to capture people very effectively. And immediately Tim Curry's character is like, "Oh, I'm gonna like take your brain and like I'll do your family and all of this stuff." And it's like, the more you threaten the people that work immediately under you, who can hit you over the head with a large object, the more they're going to think about, how do I get out of this situation? Right? You can't just keep issuing those threats, being like, you have to perform a very certain way, or I will lobotomize you, because they will rise up eventually.
When the punishment for every infraction is brain sucking, then you may as well go ahead and rebel instead of just, waiting to get lobotomized because the tea you brought was too cold or something like that.
Yeah.
And
then
it
again,
was implied that it wasn't even necessarily just punishment, because he tells his second in command towards the end of the movie, like when I draw lots or whatever, your number might be next. And I was thinking, yeah, if he's just like randomly drawing me and my coworkers to suck our brains, it might be time to rethink my the hierarchy here.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just that he has to get his brain sucking fix every so often. Your number's going to come up sooner or later.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, if I was his henchman, I'm not throwing a gun at Superman for him. Like, I'm just going to run away, because like, that ain't happening.
It certainly suggests, the film doesn't want to land this point because it's just more interested in like the adventure for the kids, which fair enough. But it almost feels like at the end of this, the fact that there is a New Eden that is demonstrably better than the world that all the DTs are also living in. You would think that like, oh, wait a minute. You mean we could have a world without a brain-sucking higher leader, and where we could sit on the beach and chill and enjoy weird coconuts and those kinds of things? Like, you could see the moment at which, like, oh no, we need to get over there too because this sucks. This is horrible. I want to be on the beach. I want to make an umbrella out of leaves, and I just want to I want to start a drink factory. Let's just do something happy, please.
And if this is somebody's dislike, I don't mean to ruin it, but they're obviously going to find it, right? Like they left the door open on both sides, which happens.
It closed.
It closed?
Yeah, so it closed.
After they ran through?
It's not clear to me if they know that it's there or not. Because Tim Curry's character goes through, and then Nathan Jones sacrifices himself in the worst career mistake of his career, where he sacrificed himself to kill Tim Curry's character, who may or may not be actually dead. But other than a handful of DTs that go in as well, the rest of the company, ? Didn't go through. But what's unclear to me, and I have to rewatch, is whether or not they see the door close, because they must have seen it. So they must know it's there. Yeah.
Well, they know that they're looking for it because the one Doom Trooper, when he runs in and the kids are running down it, he yells to the other Doom Troopers, they found the door to the tunnels, which tells me they knew there were a door to tunnels, which why they weren't just tearing down walls at that point. I don't know, but to yell it out means they know to look. Well, now they know the room. You think it's a matter of time.
And with the way gas works in that, you could just start tearing down walls because the gas doesn't move between rooms. It's fixed.
Who released the gas? Did I miss that part just completely?
They're booby traps.
I assumed it was automatic.
Yeah. It was left by the people who made the tunnels or whatever.
A trap, Sean said.
Oh.
Yeah.
I must have missed the trap going off because I seen the guy fall, the big giant guy, and then he's they're helping him up and doing everything, and then Tim Curry has his entrance, which was badass, and then of course he grabs him and drags him in, and suddenly the gas was just there, and I actually rewound it a couple times trying to find the place where they're this is how the gas got there, because I was like, how the F is there gas suddenly in his tunnels?
Well, so the way the gas works, and I suppose this is, it's not really my dislike, but we're getting to dislikes, so screw it.
I'm sorry. If I ruined somebody's dislike, I apologize.
This is totally fine.
Because we're not even close to my dislike yet, so.
The gas works basically as, they're like booby traps that have been set, but the gas doesn't disperse because physics doesn't matter, apparently. And so it stays in these pockets, and if you go into these pockets, it kills you. It's not terribly effective gas because you can see it, so you know not to go down a tunnel where there's visible gas. But it
even lights up the tunnel.
Yeah, it even lights up the tunnel, glows.
Yeah.
It's weird, dark light neon gas, right? It's like weird Firefly farts is what they're going through. And so that's how it works, but the problem is, as a booby trap, it's only useful if you have a Nathan Jones to drag somebody into the gas. Otherwise, you just know to not go that direction. It just feels like one of those things where, they wrote it in the script and they went, we don't have the budget for this. So we just have to, make the cheap version.
Before we get away totally from Nathan Jones, I do want to say I liked that character, the veteran who
Vike.
Had served with the grandfather, and he was pretty cool. I liked that actually he was mute, so we had two types of disability representation in this movie. But as Sean pointed out fairly early in the movie, this character was doomed, and that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
I will say when he first came out, I was kind of, they're doing the giant guys, the mute guy trope type thing, and I was a little disappointed because I was thinking, that's not my favorite. But then they really incorporated sign language and a bunch of other things that made me actually start to be okay, I can get behind this.
Fun. Okay, so we have to talk about Nathan Jones, and then we have to go to dislikes.
Okay,
so
yeah.
I don't know how much people know about the name Nathan Jones. So he is probably most famous for his wrestling career. I say probably because I think depending on where you experienced him, it might also be films. This is his second feature-length film as far as I'm aware. His first was actually a Jackie Chan film. And the thing with Nathan Jones is, because of his size, and because especially after he started his pro wrestling career, which is right after this movie, he gets very big and muscular. Where he's like a little soft. If you get my drift, right? He's a little squishy, right? A huggable.
He's big, but he's not quite buff.
He's
right.
Andre the
Yeah.
Giant
Yeah, like Andre the Giant, right? He's like a gentle
versus
giant
like a
character.
John Cena or The Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing with his career, though, is the stuff that he's mostly known for playing is playing very loud, very muscular, very roided out type, brutal characters. So most people probably know him now as Rictus Erectus in the Mad Max Fury Road film, right? He's that big, tall, muscular guy who has a handful of lines, but he's mostly there to just go and like fight people and throw people around. He was in Tom Yum Goong, which is one of Tony Ya's martial arts films, where he and a couple of other very large men literally throw an elephant, like a baby elephant, but like they pick up an elephant and like chuck it, right? And not like I want to be clear, no actual elephant was thrown. Right, like it was a dummy of an
CGI
elephant.
elephant?
No, it was like a
Okay.
dummy of a giant elephant doll or whatever.
Okay.
But right,
All right.
just in the story world, right? They throw an elephant, if that makes sense.
Right.
He's in Troy, and he is literally the first character that Achilles kills because he's like this big, and like he's with all the thing, and Achilles just like kills him with one hit. That's the kind of role he's known for playing. So when I see him in this, my first reaction was, oh, he's playing this lovable, sweet giant who supposedly fought in a war, but also he is like, you just kind of want to have him around the kids because he's just adorable.
Mhm.
He's so sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Wow.
funny, you just listed, other than Troy, which I don't remember watching, but like every other movie that you've like listed are like some of my favorite, like Mad Max. Every single Mad Max movie is just amazing. And I didn't realize it was even him. So thank you for, now I have more appreciation for this actor.
He's
Yeah.
actually not, he's not known for being a great actor, but he's very good at playing to his strengths. And I really wish Hollywood would
Yeah.
cast him in more sweet roles, like where he's not, like he's big and he's
Yeah.
muscular, but he's not just there to kill people. He's like, the, what was the movie? Was it The Pacifier, where Vin Diesel tried to like take a turn at being a family guy, and he was like some secret agent,
babysitter?
muscular secret agent, babysitter character? I kind of want Nathan Jones to do that, where he's just this 7 foot tall, muscular man who like takes care of babies. That's what I want, or puppies, if you like,
Huh.
or kittens.
the
Oh my
acting
god,
in
could
this-
you imagine him surrounded by kittens? Oh,
I don't like kittens, so I'm
okay,
just joking. I'm just saying a lot of stuff to get a lot of anger and hate mail. Yeah, nobody likes kittens, Sean. But I know we have to get to dislikes, but the acting in this wasn't bad for the most part. There were a few questionable choices and a little stiff, but for the most part, most of the acting was decent for a '90s made-for-TV movie, basically.
Made for, yeah. hmm
Yeah,
pretty on the mark
Like,
for
I'm not
what I would
giving
have
any of
expected
them
from
an Oscar.
Nickelodeon. No Oscars, no Oscars at all.
no Oscars, other than Tim Curry saying, "I'd rather suck it out of you." I think that line alone,
Oh,
or
man,
I'm already disturbed. Like,
yeah, that's in the Showtime trailer. By the way, I'm already disturbed. That line, that's in the Showtime trailer. It's kind of great. The
it's
Showtime
gotta-
trailer's
it's
text,
gotta
and then
be.
we'll get to dislikes. The like movie
Alright.
voice text says, "Welcome to the future. A dying world trapped in darkness. A young group of rebels searching for the light. But the only way out is the last place they'd ever expect to look. Showtime presents Tim Curry in the Nickelodeon production Doom Runners." Pretty accurate. Yeah.
I don't hate that. Yeah.
Yeah. It makes it
If I was
seem much
doing a
more epic
'90s
than it
trailer
is.
of this movie, it'd have to have that line in it. Like, it's just
I'm already
inescapable.
disturbed.
I mean, the trailer didn't start out with "in a world," and this was really the perfect kind of movie to start out with "in
Yeah.
a world" where.
yeah.
But it,
Yeah.
oh well,
It's that era too where they absolutely would have done that.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right, dislikes. We got to get to dislikes. So,
All right,
Trish, you want
I
to go first this
propose
time?
that we do our dislikes serpentine. I went to the WSFS business meeting today, and they didn't do any serpentines because they weren't set up to do that. It was a virtual meeting. And so I want to do a serpentine here because I'm serpentine deprived. So that means
Okay, you
that
lead.
it was Sean and Dan and Trish, so now it should be Trish and Dan and Sean doing
Okay,
Alright.
their dislikes. Is that acceptable?
Go for it.
So-
I got 2, so
My dislike for this movie is it just bothered me, the tone of the shift from we aren't showing violence even to the point of, not showing. We hear a fight that's happening in a cave and don't even see the punches thrown, and we get a very chaste, almost didn't happen, leaning forward letter A kiss in between the biker and the sister. But then again, you also have Tim Curry making his sexual gratification noises when he's sucking people's brains out. And I thought that was pretty disturbing.
He's getting off, that's for sure.
Nickelodeon movie that little kids are watching. I thought that was pretty squicky, and it's hard to say, no, Tim Curry, you can't do that. And it would, lose part of the Tim Curry-ness of it.
Yeah.
But then again, he didn't make any gratified sexual noises in Clue either, and he was great in Clue. So I kind of feel like they could have avoided that bit and made it just a little more family friendly. It's just a little creepy in this movie.
yeah.
But honestly,
And
that's the worst thing I can say about this movie.
And they do avoid a lot of violence, right? Like when she
Yes.
this one of the things, we didn't mention this, but when she gets kidnapped and then rescues, not only rescues herself but then rescues them, like she swings down and kicks those guys, but then most of the violence is kind of off scene, or it gets super
Right.
dark for
Mhm.
like 20
Yep.
minutes and I can't see shit. Like, so there's like this, like, yeah, the violence is very undertoned. Even the punk bleach blonde guys that are there,
Right.
in the clown prison, like you don't see. Yeah, you're right. I never even thought about it, that none of the violence is really done.
Yeah, there's
And
not
they
no
did-
posturing, but there's no, you don't see the
Yeah.
fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know when she swings down and lands on him, he like makes some comment about, we don't have time for this, and she's like, in your dreams, but then kind of lays there a little bit longer, and I was like, oh, this might go somewhere, and then they just like move on, which I was happy about. I think that their love arc, or whatever you want to call it, was well done. But then you throw in that Tim Curry sucking the, well done to a degree, Sean. But yeah, Tim Curry definitely is a tonal disconnect from the rest of it.
Yes.
I think Sean wants to comment on my comment.
Well, I have many things to say, but I get exactly what we're saying, and I get if I were a parent in 1997 when this came out and I were watching with my kids, I can imagine it'd be like, what? No, that's not right. You should not be watching that, because the performance is weirdly sexual, and I don't think I don't think we're reading into that. I think he is getting off on sucking brain, right? And that sounds like a euphemism. That sounds like a euphemism to say.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't want it to go away, because it's so awesome to watch this man ham it up in the most disturbing, uncomfortable way. I mean, he's having fun, right? The character and Tim Curry are having fun with this whole premise. And we're going, every part of this is incredibly uncomfortable. And while it's fun to watch, is not a thing that I think grown men should do. And yet we're just captivated by it. It's like we're watching, we're watching like models going down the runway, except this is the sadistic version of that. And I don't want it to go away. It has to be here. I don't know why. Like, I have to have it.
Oh, no, I agree. No, I agree. Like, I almost would rather have the movie have leaned into that side of it. Though then you wouldn't want child actors. Like, it's one of those things that for me it's hard to...
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm moving my hands around because that's what I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that, like, Trish, your kind of point that it's a weirdly... the non-violent in the sense that violence is implied or like heavily implied to the point that we know it's happening, but we don't see it, but also weirdly sexual at the same time. And I will note that when Dan mentioned that scene of that, like him falling on top of her, and they're being like, "We don't have time for this." No, don't put that. No.
As she fell on top of him, it would have been much more squicky if he had fallen on top of her.
Right, whichever direction. But either way, I kind of felt
was still
like
a little squicky.
It's a little uncomfortable, and to me, it's like that implies things that I just don't think programming meant for young people should be programming. The kiss was enough, right? Holding hands is kind of enough. I'm not trying to be a prude. It's just I just don't think that we need to be like baby geniuses making sex jokes. Like, sorry, that's a deep cut, by the way.
No.
Don't watch that movie.
I was very happy when she just made the joke, stayed there probably, I think even how long after she made the joke, she did that smile, and I think she stayed there a little too long. I'm really glad that it didn't go even longer, because, it would have gotten really much creepier, much faster.
Yeah. Fun fact, did you know that he played Philly in The Hobbit?
I don't know who Philly is.
He's one of the dwarves.
Oh, nice.
Oh, Feely. Sorry, I think.
Feely.
Yeah, sure. Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
The motorcycle guy?
That name.
Motorcycle boy did?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I can see that now that you mention it.
He's a New Zealand actor.
Wow. She looked familiar too, but I didn't look her up. I was looking up other stuff.
Yeah, Leo Moreno, who played Jada.
I did like how the brother and sister looked like actual brother and sister because they both had dark hair and strong eyebrows.
Yeah. Pretty similar. Yeah, I agree.
And they seemed to genuinely care about each other. Like, their chemistry was all right. It was nice.
There was good chemistry in this movie all around. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They must have cast for a bunch of people that liked hanging out, because that they did seem to get along really well. Yeah. So, all right. I think we have to get to Dan. Your dislike.
Yep.
Go.
So mine was actually I have two, but the one that really bothered me was that stupid headpiece the dog had to wear for the entire movie. That looked so uncomfortable, and I was just the whole time I'm thinking that poor freaking dog. It was this thing was strapped to its head, and the light would blink when it would bark. And I was just thinking I'd be barking all the time too, man, if you strapped that crap to my face. Bro, I thought we were friends. What are you doing here? And he was invisible. The dog literally ran up around the Dark Troopers or the Doom Troopers several times, including at the end when he dropped that thing there. They pick it up right next to the dog, and they just walk away, and the dog's just standing there with that ugly thing on his head. And I'm thinking, it must make him invisible. I don't know what else it did other than annoy the dog.
Well, it was the transmitter of the dog's thoughts, so that what's his name, Adam, could
understand them.
Understand him. Yes. Well, I guess a more primitive version of the collar in Up that let the blinking colors on in Up where the dogs communicated.
But why is the dog weirdly invisible?
Yeah, it really bothered me. Literally, he drops that piece of technology right next to them because it was part of the plot. They bend over. The one guy bends over, picks it up. The two Doom Troopers talk, and I couldn't hear what they said. And they just go back into their evil
But they
fortress.
Leave the door open. These are just the worst guards. These are worse than Imperial stormtroopers.
The guards were
terrible.
Not good. I get the impression that Tim Curry's Dr. KO has been lightly sucking brain for a while.
He's probably eaten up the best and brightest of his former DTs until just the dregs are left.
Yep.
Maybe it necessarily isn't the dog's invisible, but maybe they just don't see things. Because earlier on, remember when they shoot the arrow through the doors? When they have to get across the exploding field or whatever? They show the arrow go through the door and catch, and then they show the Doom Troopers open and close it again without even noticing an arrow shooting at them through the door and this big wire. I'm like, wow. Maybe they just don't. Maybe they got stormtrooper glasses on.
I mean, it must be. Let's be real. Almost none of this world makes any sense. The corporations have done something to the world. It's just it's become one of the most bizarre places. Even the idea that you could have a field that explodes, but there's a doorway you can go through. But if you step to either side of the doorway, those parts will go pew up with gas.
Yeah.
I don't understand how that, no part of that made, I mean, it felt like a video game scene, kind of. Like we were just
very
seeing
much
something.
did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And why they have to follow some specific path? Why can't they just go around it?
Well, the burning cattails, because everywhere they went, there was cattails that were smoking. So maybe it's all part of the same like designed world.
Maybe. Yeah.
Badly designed, but designed.
I mean, yeah, it's a lot of things just don't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, just the fact that at the end, it's very clear that the bad guys know that there were secret tunnels and they just didn't know where they were. And it's like, why are you bothering these town folk? Just dig some holes. Like, what are you doing? You're wasting time.
And I hope this isn't your dislike, or just travel across, like fly around a bit, because they didn't go that far underground. And then they come out, and it's not only like a jungle, but an ocean. And I'm thinking, that's like less than a mile from your base. Like, how did you not, like, even just take a walk one day and just be like, oh, look.
Someone in chat on Monday night suggested that it was actually a portal to another world or another dimension.
Oh, that makes more sense.
And I had suggested that maybe there was some kind of Genesis project that had an underworld jungle with, an underworld sun or something like that. Yeah, I basically gave a pass on the logic flaws, and there were many in this movie because, that's not what this movie was about.
Agreed.
It wasn't pretending to be a logical movie. This was a kids' movie, and but
it was fun.
Maybe the logical gaps are Sean's big problem with this movie. Why don't we hear what Sean's dislike is?
I mean, they kind of are, yeah. So I was in, like, from the way the world was set up, I was kind of fine with the whole, like, shorthand, like, the corporations ruined the world. I was kind of like, fine. That's fine. I get we can't, like, be super mega political and get specific with any of this, and just, like, that's our backdrop. It's so, like, generic that it doesn't necessarily apply to anything real unless you read into it. I was fine with that. I was fine with the little town, which the scale of which doesn't quite make sense. I was kind of fine with that too, because I was like, budget, fine. I was fine with the bad guys. But the thing that really broke me was just thinking about how this entire plot works, because it, like, distance doesn't seem to mean anything, because the DTs are constantly showing up to this town all the time, enough that they can harass this populace enough that they know who they are, right? It's not like a once in a blue moon occurrence. So that means that the base is not that far away. But yet they go on this harrowing journey, which supposedly takes forever, or like a long enough time that it's potentially going to kill them. And so where did they go that they could, but they've got their little skateboard floaty, the kite machines, so they don't need to walk, right? So they're expending less energy just doing that. And then at the end, right, they finally get back to the bad guy place, which is where it led them to in the first place, but yet they only went 13 feet away from their previous home to do that. And then this whole time, there's this secret island land or whatever that takes like 3 minutes to get to by underground tunnel, which has no explanation for how that works. So for me, it's just kind of, I got to the end and I was like, okay, well, at this point, I need more than just the story stops and you just hang out on the beach, right, with some monologue. I need something, like maybe there's a secret underground resistance and like we're gonna fight back and like hint at a sequel, or I need some sense of like, why did nobody find this here? Like, is it a portal? Okay, fine. You're not gonna give me an explanation, but at least I have that, right? I know it's not the same Earth, but this isn't. From what I can tell, it's the same Earth. So how did Tim Curry's character not know that it was there? Makes no sense to me. And it just broke it. I just can't. I need more logic. Like 3 points. More logic. And I know Paul's saying in chat it's Portal, but there's no evidence in the story that it's a portal.
Right. So I do think that the reason it took so long, because I was trying to figure that out, is with their little kids running in a dark tunnel you can't see and outrun their little four wheelers. So like their four wheelers obviously don't move that fast. So what I assumed was like the first place they were looking to go was north, like let's say north, right? And they had to walk all the way, 10 days or 5 days or whatever to get to that first point that then tells them it's hidden on the island. So it's more of a triangle, right? So like if the enemy base is to the west, they walk north for so long, well then they have to walk back down south to get to where not far from where they were. So it's kind of a triangle. Does that make sense? That's what I
No,
was
because
thinking.
then why would you make a map like that? Just be like, hey, just go to the enemy base thing, go to this spot, and like boop, boop, boop on the door, and it opens. And just don't let them
Why
in.
does anybody make weird map journeys? Like, you make those things so people can't find it.
But they would find it.
Somebody, someday. I mean, simply going around my base, Tim Curry simply sending a Doom Trooper around his base for a couple years with a pickaxe would have solved this whole thing.
You're correct, yeah. Dig a bunch of holes.
Dig me some holes. Yeah,
or I'll
dig me
suck
some
your
holes.
brains.
Yep. Somebody else ride the four wheelers around the base.
Yeah, that would have worked. Yeah.
Yeah. The corporations didn't leave the best and the brightest.
Well,
In charge
that's
of the
also
Doom
true of our world. So.
Yeah, that is 100% true.
So in that respect, it's a very accurate story.
Yes.
Well, I think we've done it. We've done a show.
Yep.
Me too.
That was. So I guess that means that it's time for us to give our grades on this movie.
Yep. So final thought,
I do
very
not want to
quick
go
grade.
first.
And so I guess we'll flip around and serpentine the opposite direction, and I'll go first. This film was fine. It's fine. Like, it was fun. It's a little silly. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's for kids. It's Nickelodeon. And so it has all of the things you'd expect of programming meant for a Nickelodeon audience. I did not dislike it. It was maybe a little boring in some spots, but I just got to the end of it and I was like, this is, if people are rating this as bad as some other films we've watched that had the same ratings, they need to see more movies. And I can call me or send me an email at skiffyandfanny@gmail.com, and I will give you a list of films that are dramatically, horrifically worse than this, right? In every way. I will punish you because this is not that bad. And so, like, is it good? No, I'm probably never going to watch it again except for the one scene where Nathan Jones, like, hugs the, like, kind of crazy man, because I thought that was very sweet, and I love Nathan Jones, and I would like him to hug me. But other than that, yeah, I mean, my grade is, it's just a C. It's a C. It's fine.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I mean, it's nothing egregious. Got kids in my life, including my daughter, and I watch a lot of kids and early kids movies. Like, it's basically par on course for all of that, and there was some actual funny stuff where, like, the kid spends that whole time in the clown jail trying to unlock the lock, and Nathan Jones just bends the bars in the back and they get out. Like
that was a
I
cute
love that.
scene.
Like,
I like
yeah,
that.
there's like a lot of little cute things like that. Plus you have like things like the Tim Curry stuff that I think up it. So I would agree. Like, it's at least a C or a C plus to me. I'll say a C plus because it's like, having watched a lot of other kids shows, there's nothing like it was as good or better. Like, I might even suggest to my daughter that it be one of the shows we watch. So I mean, I think for that age group, a perfectly reasonable movie. I've seen much, much worse.
Me too.
So C plus.
Yep.
All right, Trish, for you.
I too have seen many, many worse movies, much worse movies than this. There was nothing in this movie that made me angry, and I've certainly seen some movies that made me actively angry.
Yeah.
It did squick me out a little bit in a couple of places, but and yes, there were the logic gaps too. But there were a lot of little cute moments that I liked too. So it is certainly a perfectly adequate laundry folding movie. You've got you've got your chores and you have this on. I don't feel any need to rewatch it. But it's not bad. It certainly was not torturous to watch. I think I can't remember ever just giving a straight C to a movie, but I think that's what I'm going to go with here. But
Yeah.
maybe Tim Curry elevates it to a C+.
Do it. Just do it.
It's hard.
Just do it.
You know what? Screw it. I'll change my grade to a C+ if you do it.
Okay, C+. We're
Done.
unanimous.
We are
I
unanimous.
mean, it
'cause
is
you're
not.
right.
It's not as good as like Hell Came to Frogtown, but it's good.
But also, like, Tim Curry is kind of like brilliant in this. So yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, so we come to an average of a C+ according to Paul Math in chat. Thank you very much, Paul. So, folks, that is the show. So we're going to start our closeout. If you'd like to let us know what you thought, if you've seen this this episode or the film we watched, send us an email, skiffyandfanty@gmail.com. You can contact us for other things, too. Contact us for other things. I need to learn how to talk. You can join our Discord as well. So if you're a patron supporter, you can also talk to us in there. We have a show discussion channel. You can find this show on all of the various places, which includes Blue Sky, Threads, Mastodon, YouTube, all kinds of stuff at skiffyandfanty.com/skiffythings. And then please remember that we record pretty much every episode live on Twitch at twitch.tv/alphabetstreams, Fridays at 7 p.m. Central. So if you'd like to see us do it live and chat with us as we make the show, you can do that. If you like what we do, patreon.com/skiffyandfanty is one way you can support the show. There's also the important thing of like sharing our stuff on socials so that folks know it's out there, reviewing us on the apps. Just telling people about us is also really, really great because it helps. So please do that.
Speaking of our Patreon supporters, we would like to thank them all by name. We have thanks and appreciation for Andrea the Alluring, Cameron the Chthonic, Carolyn the Benevolent, Carrie the Divine, Chris the Candescent, Dan the Transient, Daniel the Cultured, David the Debonair, JC the Jocular, Jeff the Gracious,
Joseph the Jovial, Juan the Junctional, KB the Kind, Karen the Kickass, Kat the Kinematic, Matthew the Magnificent, Paul the Pious, Phoebe the Eloquent, Robin the Bold,
Ryan the Resilient, Sarah A. the Sensational, Sarah E. the Sublime, Sarah O. the Rapturous, Scott the Gentleman, Stephen the Strange, Tari the Thorough, Tanya the Triumphant, Trish the Imperturbable, and Victor the Valiant. Thank you all very much for your support. We do greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate it. It helps us pay the bills. If you'd like to find me, I am SeanDuke.net and SeanDuke.net/KiffyThings for my socials. And then I stream here on this same channel, twitch.tv/alphabetstreams, every Wednesday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Central.
You can find me, Trishy Matson, on Blue Sky, at PE Matson on Mastodon, Trish EM at newsy.social, and I blog at whatsthewordnow.blogspot.com, in addition, of course, to reviewing and podcasting with Skiffy and Fanty.
And you can find me at Dan the Transient on Blue Sky. Idaho Jack coming out, well, hopefully this year from Greasy Grass Press, and I blog at R Orchard OU, I think. But come find me. Oh, and I'm also on Indigenous Sky on Blue Sky.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Dana, for coming on the show. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Dan. Dan.
I hope I get to come back. I hope I was okay as a joiner.
You brought some jokes, so you win. You win points.
Okay. All right.
All right. As required by the Skiffy and Fanty bylaws, I must make this happy. But because of the film we just watched, I am temporarily altering the rules, which is allowed under the bylaws, that I can change them during a business meeting when nobody else is there but me. And so I have altered them to go back temporarily to an awkward ending. And that awkward ending is really simple, which is I'm going to speak into the chat. I want to suck out your brains. And on that note, awkward ending and scene. If you want to support this show, you can go to patreon.com/skiffyandfanty or skiffyandfanty.com, our website, where you can get access to all of our fancy things. Our music comes from Holy Mole. You can support him and his work at patreon.com/holymole. Thank you for listening.